Hashem Yisroel. Yom Sheni Parshas Vayakhel. Shnas Tovshin Ayin Vov. Shiva Tiferes Avigdor. Yesterday we mentioned about the importance of Nesius Halev. And the role that Nesius Halev played in the building of the Mishkan. And we spoke about how when somebody exhibits Nesius Halev, which is a desire, and a desire not within the mind, a desire within the heart, to attain Chachma, to be able to succeed in Ruchnius above and beyond one's nature, above and beyond one's kaiches, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu showers that person, imbues that person with tremendous chachma. The person reaches heights and places that he didn't even know that he was capable of reaching and attaining. In the Gemara it says, now, before we get to this Gemara, this midah is a midah that is necessary every time a person does a mitzvah. Now the essence of this midah is as follows. It's a rotzain. This is what it is. It's a rotzain that's strong enough that occupies my heart. There are certain rotzainos, desires that a person has. Let's say a person wants to be rich. Many people want to be rich, but it's not necessarily a rotzain in their life. It's in their mind. People who like to go on a trip, but it doesn't occupy their life, their feeling, their eternal senses. It has not been internalized, that desire. So the first step is internal desire. Second, you have to understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you have to have a bitachon, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give you the chachma that's above and beyond your natural kaiches. The Chayvus Halvavis writes in Shara B'tochen Perik Dalit that a person has to know that all acts of mitzvahs, all acts, good deeds, all avodas Hashem, or all aveiros that a person wants to do, is not shaykh, is not within a person's capability unless there are three ingredients present. Ingredient number one is he has to choose to want to do it. People have to choose to do aveiros. People have to choose to do mitzvahs. Number two, after he has a desire in his heart to do this thing, he has to make a decision. And he has to say as follows: I'm going to do that which my heart wants me to do. Sometimes you can have a person who says, I would want to do a mitzvah. Person says, I want to do an Aveira, but he didn't yet decide to actually act upon that desire, whether it's for a good deed or a bad deed. There are many people walking around and their hearts are full of desire to do good, sadly mostly to do bad. Ki yetzer leiv ha'adam ra min urav, the Torah says. A person is full of ritzonos. Every individual is a walking ratzoin eitzer, is a walking storehouse of ritzonos. But not every ratzoin that a person has did he make a decision to act upon it. So step number 2 is he makes a decision to act upon it. And step number 3 is he makes a plan and he sets the course of what it's going to take to go and do that. Ma'aseh tov, ma'aseh aveira. And now he actually puts it into play. He says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us free will. We have a koyach to choose to do his avodah, or we have a koyach to rebel against a person's avodah. Like it says, Uvacharta v'chaim, you should choose life. We don't have the ability to guarantee that what I chose, whether good or bad, will come to fruition. I don't have that koyach. HaKoyel b'dei Shamayim. The only koyach that an individual was granted is to make a choice. And in the choice, there are 3 levels. You can choose, I want this, I'm going to do it, I'm going to, step 2, and number 3 is I make a plan how I'm going to bring it to fruition. And the rest is up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu guides us based on our choices. If you make good choices, you're going to get schar godel on the good choices that preceded for the steps in your choice. And if you did an Aveira, or you chose not to do a mitzvah, you're going to have to pay for that too. So a person has to know that whenever it comes to the siyas halev, the siyas halev is actually a condition, a necessary condition in our daily avodah. Now the Nefesh HaChaim explains to us that once a person makes a decision to do an avodas Hashem, when you make a hachlota, you make a decision, any mitzvah, you make a hachlota, I'm going to shul to daven shachris, I'm going to shul to daven mincha, I'm going to learn Torah, I'm going to do Bikur Chaylim, I'm going to do Chesed, no matter what the mitzvah is. From the moment that you do that Nesiyas Halev, and you say, I'm going, you make that achlot, you say, I want to daven Shachris, I'm going to daven Shachris, and you make the movements to get out of bed, and you put your shoes on, you get a little zrizas going over there, you try to get a little ackle, you look when you see the clock moving, you try to get a little ackle, a little zrizas going. You know what happens at that moment in time? Hashem fills you with koyches. When a person wants chachma, he says, from that moment that your mind reaches that choice, in Shemayim you have to know the energy, lights go on. It's nirsham. He says it's already taken note of in Shemayim, your desire. Now, sometimes I would give examples like an LED light. Sometimes a person has a very weak will. He's thinking, should I go? Should I not go? How much do I want to go? Do I have to go? And then he says, okay, I guess I'll get around to going. Right? You need to make that decision slowly, you know. I don't know if I really want to. I'm not sure I do. So what happens at that point? Obviously, the energy you're going to generate from Shemayim is going to be very small energy. The keiches you get are going to be very schwach. But from the point that you undertake, that's the Siyas HaLev. I'm going to do it, but I'm tired. I'm going to do it anyway. I was machlit. I'm going to do it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu fills you with keiches, just like He filled them with chachma when they said they were going to undertake to do the avodas hamishkan, and it was above and beyond them. When they made that decision, I'm going to do it, and they came forward to Moshe. That was the most they could do. Come to Moshe and say, Moshe, Hinein, here I am. I'm ready to do the job. Hashem followed chachma. Now there may have been many people in the background who were thinking, you know, I'd love to do this job too. I'd love to work in the Mishkan. You know, I'm a little bored from all the learning over here. I'd love to work in the Mishkan. I like to work with my hands. But you know what they said? I'd love to, but I'm not coming forward to offer or make my offering. You know why? I don't have any training in this. I'll end up with egg on my face. I'm not a professional. I don't know this job. And then there were people who said, no, a decision. The heart wanted. They made a decision, yes, I'm going to do it. Number 3, they marched forward to Moshe. Here I am. This is what we go through in every single mitzvah that we entail. Every mitzvah we face. This is the process. Do you want it? Are you going to do it? Many people say, I want to daven shachris. Right now, I'm not ready yet. I'm not yet ready. One guy says, I guess I'm ready, but I say, getting up? Yeah, but. Getting up, but. So, be mishtabel ligmar. Make your shtabel, do what you can. Make a decision, I'm going to move. And you're going to be given keiches. Hashem is going to give you the keiches. Why cheat yourself out from that keiches? That's what a person has to know. A person has to know that this is the secret of the success and the failure of every human being. When you look at a human being who's going to die, in spite of his infirm age, you ever see these old people? I'll never forget, this seat sat, Motel Gift is a and he sat here. He used to daven over here many times. And for him to get up at the end of his life was gehenna. It was gefeller to watch him. It's let's the keiches. Get up. And I had a fellow here that I was makarev, and he used to watch him, and every time he used to tell me the same line. I'm amazed at the man. I'm amazed at the man. I used to say to him, what are you amazed at? I told you last time, what are you amazed at? He said, you see how hard he's trying there? Why did he sit down? Why did he even come for him? He can die, can't he dive in his house? He said, he wants to die with a minute. Well, one time I said, do you think it's humanly possible to do it? And he was walking a walker. I said, you think it's humanly possible for him to do what he was doing? He said, no. I don't think I can do it. And I'm in good shape. This guy was a bodybuilder. So I said to the guy, I'm going to tell you the secret. Every time the gift sits there, and it comes time for Shmoyne Esrei, and you hear him do the following. Oy! And if you listen, you could hear his mind, the mechanisms in his mind working, and he's saying, I want to stand up for the Shmoyne Esrei. I want to stand for the Shmoyne Esrei. Then he goes to step 2 and he says, I'm going to stand for the Shmoyne Esrei. Then it's step number 3. He puts his hands on the table, and with the letzter koiches, he would try to get out of his seat. Somebody sometimes came to help him in the beginning. I tried to help him a few times, looked at me with a kind of looking, get away from me, I don't need your help. And he used to get up. What was the pshat? What the pshat was? He was the CSLA. That was the CSLA. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't get me up. If I decide I'm getting up, and I do what I can do, and I'm coming, I'm going to the Amish Midas, standing up, I'm going to get the koiches. Me'al HaTeva, l'maylu min HaTeva. That's how it works. Physically, it may not be possible. That's the secret. That's the secret. Sometimes Shem said shluchim. I was reading recently the snowstorm. I saw a picture of a fellow in the snowstorm, 90-something years old. Fellow survived from Auschwitz, and the snow was mamish geferlich, and the guy never missed out. And it showed a picture of about 3-4 yidden carrying him in this deep snow on a chair, on a wheelchair or a chair. Couldn't tell exactly. They're carrying him. He wouldn't miss davening for anything in the world. So what did Hashem do? Hashem sent him shluch. Hashem sent him malach. Then you have another guy. There's a lot of people like him. No, they say, it's not good. I like to go, but it's not good. So I guess today I'm not going to do it. Fizzle out. All of a sudden you can hear the fizz of the flame going down. And they lose the question. This is the secret of the season, my friend. This is the secret of success. Chofetz Chaim used to say, writes in Tiferes Abayis, he says, he talks about this. He says, I have a question. I'm amazed how HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the earlier generations was mashpia. In the earlier generations, chachma atzuma, amazing wisdom. It says, Ki Hashem yitein chachma, chachma comes straight from Hashem. Mipiv dasu svuna. How come the chachma has diminished so greatly? Did Hashem run out of chachma? Has the world gone on too long and the oitzer, the storehouse of chachma, gotten short, Hashem can't replenish it? No. He says the answer is HaKadosh Baruch Hu grants wisdom according to the desire and the preparation of people to want to attain wisdom. It says in the pasuk that we say every day, Harchev Picha va'amaleu. We say it in Hoidu. Know what that means? Open up your mouth wide. Hashem says, and I will fill it. What does that mean? The Gemara says, know what Harchev Picha va'amaleu? When do you open up your mouth real wide? It says when you want to feed an animal. When Esav wanted to eat the whole pot of beans, he said, halitaining the righteous. So what is halitaining? Open your mouth wide. I'm going to open my mouth wide like, place for us. Pour it in my mouth. Shove it down my throat. Harchev picha. The Gemara says, what is that? Hashem says to me, be greedy. Be, so to speak, behave like a fresser. It's a restaurant that have the fresher club. If you go enough times, they give you a stamp, give you a fresher. If the 10th time, you get the 10th meal for free. Remember what the first time I saw in the restaurant, I walked out of there. They were trying to encourage people, but Hashem said, open up your mouth, I'm going to fill it. And what does the Gemara say? Hahu b'divrei Torah. When it comes to divrei Torah, Hashem says, your tshuka, your chayfetz, your desire, open up wide as much as you want. You know why? Hashem said, I took you out of Mitzrayim to make you great. Hashem said, I did miracles for you. So prepare yourself, and I'll fill it. He said the earlier generations, he says, were Musr, they were dedicated to Torah mitzvahs. They were dedicated to Chachmas HaTorah. They wanted as much as they can get of Chachmas Hashem as possible. Hashem says, you want it? I'm going to give it to you. You're greedy? You're hungry? You're never satisfied? That's beautiful. But nowadays, Chav Chaim says, people have desires of their heart are directed to it. Chamudos oilam hazeh. People want a good beef sandwich. People want a good steak. People want to go, where's the best prime rib I can get my hands on? And they go and they study, and they look, and they discuss, and they read up the Yiddish newspapers. I tell you what's the best place to go. This, that, Gewaldig. Critics, food writers, they look, they study. They go, and how many stars? They're looking for the stars. They have dreamy eyes. More stars, the better. So you want to expect, and Hashem says, you expect Hashem to give these people any chachma. If you have no interest in knowledge, if you have no interest in becoming wealthy in chachma, you think I'm going to give you that? He says, the Gemara in Ksubis, the Gemara tells us that people in their older years would travel 6 months out of the year to be in the yeshiva for 1 day, and then turn around and travel 6 months home. The desire for chachma was such. Travel 6 months to learn 1 day in the yeshiva, Chav Chaim says. You know what that is? No. So Kadosh Baruch Hu filled them, showed them the way. That's all. Chav Chaim said in another place, said this is another pshat, beautiful pshat. The Gemara we mentioned last Friday. The Gemara says, "Mi boz liyoim tamas." Who caused tzaddikim sheyirzbaz bei shulchanon la'asid lava? What makes tzaddikim's tables be scarce, be mevuzeh, missing the full setting by the table? What causes that? La'asid lava. The Gemara says, "Kitanus shahoysa behem." The smallness that was in them. They didn't believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Chav Chaim asks, we're talking about tzaddikim. We're talking about tzaddikim. How could you say that they have kitanus emunah? How could you say tzaddikim have smallness of emunah? Limited emunah for tzaddikim? No, we said a number of times, pshat from Rashi, from the Chavetz Chaim. Today we're going to share with you another pshat. It's brought down in the Kuntris, Hu Oyoyim. The Chavetz Chaim said like this: the purpose of every one of us in this world is to increase the Kvoit Shema. Like it says, Koil HaNikra B'Shmi L'Chvoidi Baros. Hashem said, everybody's, I created all of you, and the goal is to be Marbek Kvoit Shema. No. How is a person Marbek Kvoit Shema? How is a person takes his kishroinos, he takes his capabilities, and he uses it for the service of Hashem. So you have one person that was granted wealth, and he uses it, his chesed, and the Reichmans. You know about the Reichman family, you read about the man. The man made a Kiddush Hashem in the Goyish world, in the Yiddish world. The chesed that he did, in the way he did the chesed, the degree he did the chesed, was just absolutely amazing. What this caused was a tremendous Kvoit Shemayim. He used his talents for Kvoit Shemayim. Hashem blessed him with more wealth. And even when Hashem took away some of his wealth, he continued giving vast amounts for tzedakah. And then you have people who have koiches to learn Torah. They're bright people. And they say, what does Hashem want me to do? Does he want me to be a rocket scientist? What does Hashem give? Why did Hashem give me the mind that he gave me? Was it to produce Kvod Shemayim? How? By being a doctor? By being a scientist? Is that what Hashem gave me the koiches for? Or did Hashem give me this koiches to become great in Torah? So I become a storehouse. I become a walking manifestation of the Chachma of Hashem. You know what happens sometimes? People don't believe in themselves enough. They lack emunah. They lack emunah. They forget that Habolah Taher Messiah Yosef. They're good people. They're tzaddikim. They're tzaddikim. Like the Chavetz Chaim. But you got to realize, everything in this world is emunah. If a person is not going to operate and believe and trust that Hashem is going to help him succeed beyond his koiches, so he's going to be mevazveis his koiches. All his koiches will become oizgespilled. He'll never utilize them. All his talents will go to waste. And you know what? And shtusim. And nothings. That's what the Chavetz Chaim says. What caused mi goram with tzaddikim? Who causes tzaddikim? She yisbazbe shulchanah. That their shulchan should be yisbazbe l'hoim. Know what it is? Because their smallness of ma'asim. They could have accomplished unbelievable things. They could have climbed tremendous mountains. Look at the Chavetz Chaim. Look at the Chavetz Chaim. It's amazing what he accomplished. Sick, orphan, poor, everything going against him. All the things you would need for success. Family, strong family, secure family, wealth, and health. Chavetz Chaim was impoverished on all those 3 years. From a very young age, heart problem. Very young age, he had no father. He had nothing. But he had emunah. And he put sefer out after sefer, and he climbed mountain after mountain. To the degree he surpassed such people of previous generations. How did he do it? Because he lacked ketanus. He lacked small-mindedness. He says the tzaddikim who don't believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to help them, those are the ones who don't succeed. Now we have to understand that this criteria is something we have to always maintain, always stoke. My grandfather used to say a tremendous thing. My grandfather used to say, kavod is one of the worst things in the world. It says kavod is moitzi a person from the world. But on the other hand, Hashem is the one who imbued us with kavod. Why did Hashem imbue us with kavod? Why? Why would Hashem, he said, kavod is one of the greatest tools that Hashem gave a person. He used to bring the source. The source was, he said, the same way kavod is moitzi es ha'adam min ha'olam in the worst way, the same way kavod could be machnis a person into the olam in the most greatest way. That's how kavod works. Brings a person in the greatest ways, greatest places. And he used to say like this, in the Mesilas Yesharim it said, how does a person, the Hamoin Am, general populace, how do you motivate yourself to grow? You know what you do? My grandfather's words used to say, stoke the fires of your kavod. Get your desire of kavod out and look in the mirror and say, I want to be a somebody. I want to be great. So somebody might say, yeah, they told me that in grade school, if you want to be the president of the United States of America, you could have the American dream. That's a sheker. Not everybody can be the American. Even though today, this president definitely is machazik our emunah becoming the president, that anybody can become a president without having much background and much success in your life. Does seem to help that American dream out, bolster that dream, but it's still a dream. What does HaKadosh Baruch Hu want? He wants cover. No one likes to be nobody. Everybody wants to be a somebody. In this world, being a somebody for the things that people imagine determines if somebody's a somebody or not is not important. But in the next world, that's what's going to count. And if a person wants cover, and a person seeks cover, and a person says to somebody, says to himself, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I want to become somebody. And because of that, he drives himself to have a sheaf. He has a yuzma. He has an ambition. And he becomes an ambitious individual. That person is going to become something. Kavod is one of the greatest, most powerful tools, writes the Mesilas Yesharim, for the Hamoinam. And you have to constantly be ma'or that kavod. I don't want to be a nobody. I don't want to be a nobody. I want to be a somebody, and I have a moon. I can be a somebody. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says. I don't want to be a Bozli and Tanis. I don't want to be Tanus, Shahoisemen, Kleinigkeit, a klein mensch. That's what a person has to realize. To be a klein mensch, to be a garnished, is taka garnished. To dream big, to desire big, and there's nothing that's going to stop you. Now the emes is, as Rabbi Rucham writes, that ambition is the hallmark of all successful people, whether in Torah or whether out of Torah. He said, show me a person that's successful in the world, and you'll be looking at a person that's ambitious. The greater the success, usually the greater the ambition. But in the outside world, the Gemara says, Harchev Pichev Amalayu does not apply to Eilam Hazeh. Hashem says, if you're ambitious, you may make it, you may not make it. There's no guarantees. Most people don't recognize and don't realize their ambitions in the secular world, in Eilam Hazeh. They die with their dreams. Ein Adam Meis, the Chatzi Tavosi beyond a person doesn't make it to the end with even half of his life's dreams. Now, Moyav, a guy tells me he's satisfied. Satisfied doing what? Garnished. He lived like a cow. How do you live? My grandfather used to say, you put a cow in the backyard and you give him grass, he's never going to go out of that corral. He'll stay there for the rest of his life being a cow. So, the kleiner mensch, a behemoth bleibt der behemoth. A person has to have a yuzma. You have to have a sheif. You have to have a drive. That is called Nesiyas Alev. If you have Nesiyas Alev, you will be successful. Begin, gentlemen, start your engines. Clarify to yourself what it is you want. What do you want in Ruchnis? Clarify to yourself, not what I want in the future at some point in my life. What do I want to make of myself and to do now? Everybody says, I want to be rich. Then I'm going to get stuck. I'm going to become Reichman. So you think Moshe Reichman became Moshe Reichman when he was 50? When he was in yeshiva, he was Moshe Reichman already. He was doing Maisa Chesed, Nefloim. When he was in yeshiva, he was unbelievable what he did. Hashem saw, he's an honest guy. He means it. This guy makes decisions. He's ambitious. And he did chesed. Hashem says, you know what? I'm going to give him. I'm going to feed him. And he was like, that a person has to start your engines, decisions, and then start making the moves toward actually implementing those ambitions. And with a dose of bitachon, like the Chayil says, you're going to be zeicher to Hashem being mashpia you with tremendous ruach chochmah, the das, the kol tuv sheba.